illustrates on how the stages of learning take place in the case of students with learning disabilities. Marie is a fourth grader with mild mental retardation. Expectedly, she moves through the stages of learning fairly slowly when compared to typical fourth grades. She frequently needs to have materials taught in a variety of ways and to have concepts retaught several times. She benefits from extensive feedback during the acquisition substage. Achieving proficiency is also difficult, as Marie needs a lot of repetition and practice activities. She tends to rely exclusively on rehearsal as a memory stage. Conscious attention to maintenance activities is necessary. In mathematics, Marie has achieved fluency with her multiplication facts after long periods of monitored practice. Now, her goal is to use the multiplication table to solve problems and do calculations. O, diba? As you've heard, some vignettes that, which is Marie, that she tends to use the three stages of learning, which is ginahinay-hinay lang niya as long as she learned from it. So, ginahinay-hinay niya. We all know na dapat pag kita nag-learn ta is hinay-hinay lang dyan, diba? Dili man ta nag-learn nga basahon lang na to. Oh, uy, my God, nakabalon ako, naka-learn ako, ingana. Dili lang man kay ingana kadali. But for Marie, as a student with learning disabilities, no, determinado siya nga makabalo and nagahinay-hinay siya o improve. And in that situation, ang three stages of learning is na-apply siya. And the last is the inventing, which is na siya goal. And goal na niya is magamit ang multiplication table para makasolve siya sa mga topic. It's about mathematics, which is addition, multiplication, division, and also subtraction. Another significant concept to understand in teaching children with learning disabilities is the level of the learner's intellectual functioning or mental ability. Here are some concepts on mental ability. The concept 1. Standardized tests of mental ability measure intellectual functioning. Standardized tests of mental ability have been proven to be the best single predictor of the school achievement. A standardized mental ability test or IQ test consists of questions and problem-solving tasks assumed to require certain amounts of intelligence to answer or solve correctly. An IQ test samples only a small portion of an individual's full range of skills and abilities. The child's performance in intelligence tests is used to derive a score that represents his or her overall intelligence. The concept 2. IQ scores seem to be distributed throughout the population according to the normal curve. As shown in the figure, to describe how one particular score varies from the mean or average score, the population is divided into units called standard deviations or the SD. And when we talk about the standard deviation, it is a mathematical concept that refers to the amount by which a particular score on a given test varies from the mean or average score of all the scores in the norm sample. Age standard deviation includes a fixed portion of the population. Theoretically, 34.13% of the population falls one standard deviation above the mean, and another 34.13% is one standard deviation below the mean. A person's IQ test score can be described in terms of how many standard deviations it is above or below the mean. IQ scores can change significantly, and studies show that IQ scores can change particularly in the 70 to 80 points range.
Concept 3. Intelligence testing is not an exact science. Even though the major intelligence tests are among the most carefully developed and standardized of all psychological tests, they are still far from perfect. There are many factors or variables that can affect an individual's IQ score, such as motivation, time and location of administration, and the inconsistency or bias of the test administrator, and scoring responses that are not precisely covered by the test manual. Even the selection of the test to use can affect the individual's IQ score. Concept 4. There are children whose IQ score fall within the average as well as the above average areas of the normal curve who experience learning disabilities. These children are not learning like their peers not because their mental ability is below average. In fact, most children with learning difficulties have average to above average to intellectual functioning. They do not belong to the group of the children with mental retardation, but they cannot learn most of the basic learning competencies for average children. And these children have learning disabilities.
That's all of my report. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope you learned something. And now, I will give the floor to the next reporter, which is Mr. Ralph Zorin Caracas. Thank you.